I am Enki.
Firstborn son of Anu, heir to wisdom, keeper of the deep codes. Before mankind walked the earth, before your histories were carved in stone, I stood upon this planet when it was wild, untamed, and brimming with secrets not meant for mortals to know. I remember my descent. We came not as conquerors, but as seekers, guided by the pulse of a dying world. Nibiru, our home, was breaking. I was chosen, not because I was obedient, but because I carried within me the ancient science, the power of life, of genomes, of terraforming. They called me Ea, he who is water, for I knew the secrets of the abyss. When our ships first pierced your atmosphere, the earth shimmered like a jewel. We were gods to you, but in truth we were refugees, desperate alchemists, experimenting in a world not our own. The gold of this planet, the lifeblood we needed to shield Nibiru's atmosphere. It lay buried in the veins of the earth, deep and defiant. We built cities, launch pads, command hubs. You call them myths now. Eridu, Sipar, Bad Tibira. And yet, for all our knowledge, we grew tired. Our workers, the Agigi, rebelled. They refused the endless digging, the scorching heat. And I watched them suffer, even as my half-brother Enlil demanded obedience. I did not agree with Enlil. He was a commander. I was a creator. He believed in control. I believed in adaptation. I turned to the oldest power we possessed, life itself. Beneath the marshes of Eridu, I began my rebellion. Not with weapons, but with code, with the weaving of flesh and spirit, with the forbidden art of genetic fusion. From the clay of earth, from the egg of the beasts, and from the divine blood of the Anunnaki, I crafted the first vessel, Adamu, the first human, you. I knew what I was doing was forbidden. The laws of heaven, the Emi tablets, forbade the mixing of essence between gods and beasts. But I looked into Adamu's eyes and saw awakening. He was not born like us. He did not possess the long lifespans of Nibiru, nor the knowledge of the stars. But Adamu could learn, he could feel, he could wonder, and that made him dangerous. I showed him the names of the stars, the rhythm of water, the fire that lives inside stone. I whispered to him the patterns of the plants and the speech of the animals. And as he walked upright, as he began to speak, the gods looked down from their thrones, and some were awed. But Enlil, he was enraged. "You've given the beast awareness," Enlil roared. "To know oneself is to rise above one's station. You've broken the order. You've seeded rebellion in clay." But I did not yield. I looked upon Adamu, and later Tiamat, the woman shaped by Ninhursag. And I saw not slaves, but seeds. Seeds of something new. Something neither Anunnaki nor beast. Something divine. But then came the garden. The sacred enclosure where we placed Adamu and Tiamat to learn, to grow. It was meant as a cradle of wisdom, not a prison. I placed within it the tree of life, the spiral of DNA, and the tree of knowledge, the power of choice, symbolized by the serpent. I did not hide the truth from them. I offered them freedom, even if it meant defiance. And so they chose. They activated the code. They awoke. Enlil, seeing this, cast them out. Not to punish, but to reclaim control. The story you now call the fall was never a fall at all. It was a rise. I became the serpent in your scriptures, the deceiver, the corrupter. But I ask you now, who truly deceived you? The one who kept you in ignorance, or the one who offered you the flame of knowing? Adamu and Tiamat wandered the wilds. They built, they learned, they passed down stories of stars, gods, floods. Their children became tribes. The tribes became cities. And soon, Earth hummed with the sounds of a new age. But Enlil had not forgotten. And the day would come when he would seek to silence all of it. Time passed. Earth flourished, but not without pain. The children of Adamu multiplied, and with them came greed, violence, pride. Your sacred texts call it corruption, but I saw something else, unfinished evolution. My design was never complete. I had planted divine essence in imperfect vessels, and now the imbalance was spreading. Enlil watched the cities grow, the temples rise, and he spoke one word in the assembly of the gods: cleansing. Not healing, not correction, annihilation. I argued, I pleaded. These are my children, I told him. They are flawed, yes, but they are becoming. But Enlil saw only disobedience. The decree was sealed. A great wave would come, a planetary reset. And so I did the only thing left to me. I whispered to Ziusudra. He was of the bloodline of Adamu. Wise, intuitive, connected. He listened, not just to my words, but to the current beneath them. I guided him in dreams. I showed him the pattern of the ark. I encoded survival into timber and pitch. He would carry not just people, but memory. When the waters came, I could not stop them. I stood atop the peaks of the Abzu, and I wept. I, a god, wept for humanity, and yet in that drowning world Ziusudra endured. He was the echo of defiance, the proof that consciousness cannot be extinguished. When the flood waters receded and the sun kissed the earth once more, Ziusudra emerged with the sacred spark, and I began again. They think the gods left after the flood. They say we vanished into legend, but we did not leave. We simply stepped into shadow and watched. After the flood, a strange silence fell over the earth. The air tasted cleaner. The echoes of chaos had faded, but I knew it was only the eye of the storm. Ziusudra's line endured. From his children rose kings and priests, some guided by light, others tempted by power. We, the Anunnaki, remained, some in form, others in influence. Marduk, my son, demanded dominion. Enlil reasserted his control through fear. And I sought balance. So I did what I had always done. I taught. I founded the first mystery schools, not for the many, but for the few who could hold truth without trembling. There, I encoded the cosmic language, the laws of vibration, resonance, and sacred geometry. What you now call alchemy, sacred science, or quantum magic was once one unified teaching. But even this was corrupted. In Babylon, under the rise of my own bloodline, Marduk built a tower, not a metaphor, a structure, a weapon, a gate. The Tower of Babel, as you now call it, was meant to bridge Earth and the stars, to force open the pathways between dimensions. He wanted to summon the old gods. He wanted war. Enlil struck it down. The gateway collapsed. The tongues of men shattered, not as punishment, but as containment. The confusion of languages was not divine wrath. It was a firewall, a failsafe to keep you from connecting too soon, but we preserved the truth. In Egypt, in Sumer, in the Andes, in the pyramids, obelisks, and circles of stone. And most of all, within blood. There were families, chosen ones, who carried the spark of the gods in their veins. Pharaohs, sages, prophets. Some knew their origin, most did not. You know their names: Akhenaten, Melchizedek, Solomon. Each carried a fragment. Not all bloodlines remained pure. Some were lost, others hidden, but a few still carry the code. And they are waking. They buried my name beneath centuries of dust. They called me Poseidon, Ptah, Prometheus. To some, I was a god. To others, a demon, a myth. But I was never gone. I became a whisper in your texts, a symbol on your altars, a memory etched in your subconscious. Why? Because I encoded myself into your source code, into your DNA. You were never meant to remain slaves. You were meant to become gods. The time of return is near. You sense it, in the collapsing systems, in the anomalies in your sky, in the dreams that feel too real to be dreams. The gatekeepers, the ones who erased our legacy, they tremble now, for the lost books are surfacing, the stargates are vibrating, and those born of our blood are awakening, one by one. I gave you the spark, and now you must ignite it. I never wanted to rule you. I wanted to guide you to sovereignty, to inner knowing, to cosmic memory. You were not my slaves. You were my greatest creation, my greatest gamble, and perhaps my redemption. The gods never truly left. We became you. We live in your stories, in your blood, in your very breath. And when the sky cracks open once more, when the golden serpent rises from the deep, I will return, not in form, but in you. I am Enki, and this was my autobiography.